If you know me in real life, which, if you're watching this video, you probably do, you'll know that I'm a big fan of the YouTube channel Sneako. It's hard to describe his content without watching it for yourself, but if I had to try, I would probably say social commentary videos edited with stylistic, crisp editing. And if I had to pick a favourite YouTube channel, it would in all likelihood be his. Now wait, don't click away from this video. This is not going to be 9 minutes of me simping for Sneako. However, I think in recent years, he has created something genius. A video series that even he knows has unlimited potential, filled with intriguing topics and controversial opinions. A video series that I believe to be perfect for YouTube. This is the 1 Minute Podcast. The 1 Minute Podcast is a video series by Sneako, in which he interviews strangers in public for just 1 minute on interesting and controversial topics. That's it. That's all there is to it. Part of what makes this series work is its simplicity. But the main reason most people are clicking on these videos is the topics. The importance of this cannot be understated. I mean, it's literally what the videos are about, but deeper than that, the selection of the topics is critical in making both the conversations and in turn the series work. The talking points in these videos are carefully chosen to be arguable enough for people to have strong opinions and things to say about them, but they also aren't political enough to be found in a debate class or a social sciences degree. That said, they are all very relevant topics in today's world. A lot of the subjects in these street interviews are things that are on people's minds, and that's important. Anyone can have something to say about these topics, and you feel like you yourself could get involved in these conversations. You will no doubt have your own opinions on the subject matter, and agree or disagree with guests on the show, which is one of the reasons these videos are so engaging and interesting. The familiarity/relatability of a lot of the topics on the show is one of the big selling points of the series. As, like I said, this isn't a debate class. It's more like an absorbed conversation between friends. This gives the series genuineness, which is one of the hardest things to find on the internet, and one of the most coveted things on YouTube, by both creators and viewers. Topic selection is arguably the most crucial factor in what makes these videos work so well, and Sneako is acutely aware of what makes a great topic for a 1 minute podcast, which is why the series has been such a success. On the topic of Sneako actually, let's talk about the host of the show himself. Now, I actually believe that a big part of what makes this series work is how Sneako does his interviews. For starters, Sneako is great at hearing both sides of a discussion. While he does have his own opinions, which do shine through in these videos, he is happy hearing an opinion he doesn't agree with. He lets people say what's on their mind, without trying to defeat their arguments, in an effort to cover the topics more completely. It seems to me like Sneako cares more about open discussion than coming to actual conclusions on the topics in these videos, as he will often play devil's advocate in these conversations, even to opinions that he agrees with. For me personally, a key aspect of the Sneako channel is the acknowledgement of opinions without necessarily having to agree with them, and this series exemplifies that entirely. I also find that one of Sneako's strengths for this series in particular is that he is very good at making people drop their politically correct facades. On social media and in public, a lot of people will default to more politically correct opinions and thoughts, when in actuality they may be hiding their real thoughts and feelings. Sneako has a talent for stripping away these facades put up by people, by admitting to them that he isn't going to default to the politically correct answer, and saying his own opinion while justifying what he thinks. Now, This may sound a little bit radical, so if you want a good example of this, you can check out his most recent video, Is Everybody Racist?, where he does this exact thing to get some interesting answers out of people. This is very important to the series though, as having these barriers broken down allows people to say what they really think, which, whether you agree or disagree, makes for more genuine and engaging discussions. The average host, however, couldn't bring down these barriers in a conversation, which is why I think Sneako himself is so important for this series. To put it simply, a lot of people could come up with the topics discussed here, but only Sneako can bring out the best in these topics. One thing that makes Sneako's videos feel so distinct on YouTube is their directing. If you've watched a Sneako video, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. Sneako forms his videos with snappy cuts and a clear artistic direction in a lot of the visuals used, both in camera and editing software. The 1 Minute Podcast is no different, each video filled with interesting visuals snappily intercutting the interviews, bars by the way, which are oftentimes spliced together in a way that allows multiple people's opinions to be heard together. This technique of cutting between multiple people answering the same question is one of many editing tricks utilized in these videos, and despite being quite a simple trick, it keeps the energy of the video high. Not only this, but it optimizes the amount of content you can receive as a viewer, filling up the video with more answers per minute by only hearing the question asked once and only putting in the best conversations found. And this isn't even the best editing Sneako has ever done. Far, far from it. But Sneako chooses his editing style according to the video's needs. It still feels like Sneako's style of artistic editing, but toned down in a way to suit a street interview and make production easier. Sometimes Sneako will even completely leave the set to monologue to the viewer his own thoughts on the topic, which is always backdropped by beautifully shot and edited footage. This not only keeps each new video fresh and unpredictable, but also is just a display of filmmaking skill, and it makes the videos a pleasure to watch. This is also not mentioning Sneako's habit of using editing for comedy, like for example displacing people's answers from one question to a different one at the beginning of a video.
Do you think it's okay to be fat?
Oh yeah, I love fat women.
All in all, the ability to make a simple reel of people just talking feel energized and exciting is a testament to the directing skills used in the making of these videos, and is a core reason behind the series' success. Lastly, as is now routine in these videos, I want to talk about why the 1 Minute Podcast is logistically such a good match for YouTube. There are many reasons for this, but the biggest one is how easy this series is for Sneako to make. The series really only needs a table, chairs, and a crowded place to be produced, and like I mentioned before, the editing can be done very quickly, and still suit the series' needs. On top of all this, is the fact that this series has effectively limitless potential. And Sneako knows this too. He's gone on record saying that he knows this has huge potential, and that lockdown was kind of the only thing that could have really stopped this series. Which, I mean, it did, but only for a little bit. The beauty of this series is that as long as there is a question to be asked, the series can be made. Let's put it this way. When the hardest part of making one of these videos is thinking up a question good enough to ask, you know you found a successful formula. If you watched my last video, which you totally should have by the way, link in the description, you'll probably remember me saying the exact same thing about how easy it is to make humans of VR. That isn't just me being lazy though. I think one of the hallmarks of a perfect YouTube series is how easy it is to produce compared to the quality of the product. The 1 Minute Podcast is a great example of this, which is one of the reasons I think this series is so genius. The series also has some great clickbait potential within it, and it can make for some amazing titles. Like, look at some of these titles, especially fucking this one. Like, how is this allowed on YouTube? Unironically though, these titles are great for enticing viewers in, and this is part of the reason why the series is such a great match for YouTube over any other platform. The 1 Minute Podcast is such a simple concept for a YouTube series, yet from that simplicity comes such an engaging and intriguing viewing experience. Within the simple framework of this show, Sneako can talk about almost anything he likes and keep viewers constantly invested through how he interviews people and edits each video in his style. Each video has the potential to be completely different from the last, both in content and format, meaning the scope of the series truly knows no bounds. Sneako has captured true infinite potential for quality and diluted it down into a formula in a way that only Sneako could. And that, as well as everything I have mentioned today, is why I believe the 1 Minute Podcast is a perfect YouTube series.